Hello, this is the My Artifact episode number 3569. Today's date is 2nd of September 2025. It's been almost like a morning at 8:16 a.m. Alright, uh, almost like 32 year ago, okay, exactly on this day I was born. Yeah, today is my birthday. Right now I just feel like that ki these days being something like a curse to me. Yeah, and I like whenever it's like the birthday thing happened, the day this thing, it's it's like that na ki I don't know, this date is like I was never really excited when I was child when I have a birthday too, and right now I also really not excited either too, or not really excited, not just like I just feel like that curse, like I just feel like that ki this day would not gonna came. Okay, yeah, but why do you think like that? Why do you think like that? I think that na ki probably is this thing because of that ki okay, let's just give me the perspective. Okay, yeah, um we are living in particular world, okay, yeah, where we have some sort of rules to follow. Okay, what are those rules? By the way, I already mentioned this thing, but still, okay, what are the rules? Rules is that ki uh, till the age of 25 you have to be done your education, be done your graduation. Okay, yeah, till the age of 27 you have to get a job or things like that. Till the age of 30 you have to be get married. Till the age of 30, 31 you have to get a child or things like that. Well, basically these are kind of like some certain rules that we should supposed to be follow. By the way, these are rules are not mentioned anywhere, but societal point of perspective, this is kind of like a something somewhat similar kind of like a rules that we are living, and mostly almost everyone is actually follows that. Now there is a couple of people who don't follow those rules. uh, when those people are don't really follow those rules, then they kind of like feel a little bit of alone or left out, or kind of like a feels that I don't know. And I am one of those people. Okay. um and yeah, like basically it's this thing na ki ask this question to yourself. Till the age of 32, what should you supposed to be expect that you should supposed to be achieved till the age of 35? like basically like whoever the person you are, where are you from, like till the age of 32 you are kind of like somebody expecting that ki you have a job, you you have a job at least. Okay, yeah, like getting married or things or that, yeah, but you have a job, being really independent. This kind of like is one of the most important thing. Okay, yeah, and right, am I independent? No, I am not independent. I am 32. I'm still living with my parents. Okay, sorry. I'm like since the morning I was like not feel bit of good. Okay, yeah. But I'm 32. I'm living with my parents. I am not earning any kind of like assembly money. Okay, yeah, yeah. You could judge me. Yeah, you could consider me I'm pathetic and things like that. That is okay. Yeah, because I've been through. Okay, and right now these are things are not really affecting to me. Everyone is kind of like a saying this thing, what are you doing with your life and stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff like that. But I don't know. Okay, let's just ask a couple of questions that key. First of all, why are you not following those rules? Okay, like what is exactly like a problem, like basically is this thing following those rules are kind of like something wrong or what? No, it's not wrong, it's definitely not wrong. Okay, it's completely right. Those rules are meant to be kind of like a simply be a kind of like a simply person that good. Okay, yeah. So these rules are not wrong. This is really right rules. Okay, yeah. Then why are you not following those rules? Because of that, na ki it's just like that ki I wanted to do something different. Okay, yeah. And at the time, I know what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to doing it that. Like, what exactly is this that you want to do? Okay, like, okay, there is a couple of things that I'm very clear regarding about what I don't want to do. I don't want to do a job. Okay, yeah, because I understand myself, and I realize that ki I am not a kind of like a person who kind of like a do the job, and I am not one of those people. Okay, yeah. I wanted to establish the things by myself as a business, as a kind of like a something as a be a filmmaker, as a YouTuber, as a kind of like a things that basically the income sources is actually depend on me, not rely on someone else. Okay, yeah. But dude, you might be completely wrong that key your income sources is also really dependent on that field too. Like basically if you being a businessman, if you being a kind of like a filmmaker, or if you being any kind of like a funny person, your income source is still depend on somebody. Dude, but you are completely wrong. Being a job is like that, whatever the effort that you do is not depend upon how much work, how much money that you will gonna get. But when you do business, when you do kind of like a things, you will definitely gonna sure that whatever the effort that you are putting, you will gonna get little bit of values regarding about that. It means, let's just say that if I'm kind of like a running a business or things or that, if I put effort, I will get more money or value or things like that. But in the job, if you put so much effort in doing a job, you will get consistent amount of money. It's not okay. So yeah, but this is not the reason that why I'm not doing a job. Okay, yeah, the exact reason is that key probably is this thing that key yes, I try to blend. I try to do a job like basically I did a job for 4 years, and I realized that it's not. I don't really have any kind of like really proper explanation regarding about why I'm not doing a job. It felt something wrong, that's it. Yeah, it felt something wrong, and yeah. But the more courage is that ki when you not have a job, then what should you supposed to do? Okay, yeah. By the way, I already have a kind of like some certain things that I wanted to do, so yeah. So you are 32. Okay, yeah. So what is exactly your kind of like something like let me tell me something. Till the age of 32, what kind of like some things that you accomplish means achieve, what kind of like things that you achieve till now? Okay, regarding about achievement, if you kind of like considering a kind of like a something a physical achievement or kind of like achievement that you could see, you could feel or things like that, no, I haven't really achieved any of those achievement, nothing really at all. But from inside I achieve a lot, couple of things. Like I improve my skills. Okay, yeah. The I'm kind of like somebody speaking to you in English as possible, as good as possible as way. Okay, yeah. uh, is it accomplishment? I don't know. It's a kind of like a thing that I achieve, I think that okay, yeah. Okay. Then another thing is that ki I learn couple of things. Being a YouTuber means like that ki you just have to understand the like all the creative fields skills, like video editing, photo editing, stuff and stuff like that. Also, being a YouTube means like that understanding the YouTube and stuff like that. Yeah, I also learning that thing too. Okay, yeah. Like basically, you shouldn't supposed to be considered that you learn. No, you are learning. Okay. Also, I'm trying to read book half an hour every single day. I started this thing almost like basically 6 months ago, and I'm kind of like a read almost like how many books I read till now? Well, 11th of Artifact, and then uh, four book of Bible. Okay, this is kind of like some stuff that I read. Also, I wanted to make this kind of like a thing as a habit. I wanted to make this habit that every day I should supposed to be read half an hour. uh, Almost like 2 months ago, I was kind of like a somebody started started kind of like a utilizing like basically playing brain games. Okay, yeah, what's up brain games? Brain games means like that ki kind of like a somebody workout from brain. Okay, yeah. So there are a couple of apps, okay, like Elevate, Lumosity. These are kind of like some apps that I'm actually working for almost like for last 2 months. Okay, yeah. And it kind of like improve me significant amount of kind of like a simply knowledge. I'm not really sure, but it's kind of like a micro learning. You are kind of like a somebody, you are not kind of like a somebody spending so much amount of time. Just kind of like a spend 5 minutes on that particular application. It will kind of like a simply improve your thinking skills, brain, or whatever it is. Okay, yeah, it's kind of like a little bit helpful. That is called micro learning. I also micro learning about language. I'm actually learning Mandarin. Okay, don't ask me to speak in Mandarin. Yeah. Because it's not a kind of like a things that key, like I'm not there yet. Okay, yeah, to kind of like speak and things like that. By the way, I couple of knew some of the words like tofu. Tofu means tofu. Mifan means chawal. Kafi means kafi. Zhongwo means like that ki Chin, okay, or China. Okay, yeah. Yungwen, then Zhaofu, then there is a couple of words, okay, probably, okay, and still these are kind of like a very early learning curve. Okay, yeah. I just understand the word, but I can't speak that much well. Okay, why are you speaking Chinese, Mandarin? Okay, that's a really good question. I think that na ki I really need kind of like I really need to speak a Chinese people, because first of all they don't understand English. Okay, yeah. Probably is this thing na ki rest of the world kind of like a somewhat somewhere they might understand English. Yeah, somewhat somewhere, maybe like a couple of things. Like if I'm gonna say where is the school, so probably if someone is kind of like a somebody, I don't know, little bit understand, they might gonna understand what is actually meaning of school and what exactly is this thing, and they, yeah. But if you ask this thing that ki where is the school in China, then probably Chinese people will not understand, because the exposure of English over there is almost like a non-negligible. Like probably, I don't know, yeah. So I need to communicate with the Chinese people. Okay, and my gut feeling that ki you have to be learn Chinese, so that's why I'm kind of like a learning Chinese. Okay, yeah. I'm not really kind of like a somebody really good at that, but I'm trying to learning by Duolingo. Duolingo is an application same as a micro learning. Okay, yeah. Till now I made almost like how many books I made? How many books I like wrote? Yeah, like it's not actually wrote. Okay, yeah. Like basically, what exactly is this thing? Okay, yeah. So the it's actually started from the like while I was recording the artifact. Like the last year ago, I was kind of like a somebody decided that ki I'm actually recording artifact for almost like a decade. Okay, yeah. Now I wanted to listen those artifacts, but it not be possible. Why? Because like a basically decade means like I have almost like a maybe 3,000 4,000 files of artifact. 3 4,000. Each artifact is averagely almost like a 10 20 minute. Okay, sometime it went to kind of like hour of recording. So probably it's that key, if I wanted to kind of like simply listen my artifact, that is not gonna possible. Okay, yeah. So I need a kind of like a simply way to consume that kind of like a simply information, and I found that. What is exactly that way? I need to read my artifact, but how do I supposed to like you actually record the artifact in audio format? So how do you supposed to read it? How do I supposed to read it? Okay, yeah. So basically, what I did is that I upload all my artifact on YouTube platform. Okay, yeah. Name as a kind of like an artifact. Okay, this episode is not actually uploaded on my real YouTube channel. It's actually uploaded on another YouTube channel called My Artifact. Okay, yeah. My main purpose, like basically, I didn't really upload my artifact just for kind of like some reviews and things like that. And basically, it's not like basically who would kind of like some listen those artifacts. These are kind of like a quite boring, dude. Okay, legitly very bored. Like I don't know. Like basically, I'm recording artifact for almost like a decade, but I haven't really listened any of those artifacts till now. I just record. Okay, yeah. So what is actually this thing? I wanted to kind of like somebody listen those artifacts. I need a kind of like a some way. I need a kind of like a some way to figure it out. How do I supposed to listen? So my plan is that I actually upload all my artifact in YouTube platform, and YouTube has a kind of like a some really good policy that whatever the video that you uploaded, it converted into the subtitle. Whatever the language that you did, it kind of like converted into subtitle. So basically, I upload my artifact on YouTube platform and it converts into the subtitle. Okay, automatically generate subtitle. So what I do is that I copy that entire subtitle, paste it on ChatGPT, and just put the prompt, remove the timestamp, remove the serial number, convert into the English, make it kind of like a correct the grammatical mistakes and things like that, make it readable, make it engaging, make it kind of like a look good or things, or add subtitle, add multiple subtitle and things like that. So sorry, I'm kind of like a simply just there is some sort of text is actually happened already. Yeah. So what is actually that? I put all those prompt and it kind of like a converted into the text document. Okay, yeah. So which is kind of like a something really good. Okay, yeah. That it just convert me entire thing into the text document, which is kind of like a something feel that I could read, and which is really good. Like when I read those things, I can easily consume my information that I told in the artifact, and which is like a really good. So basically, I kind of like started doing this thing. Like I already uploaded almost like a 3,700 artifact, almost like a 6 months ago. Okay, yeah. And then I kind of like a make those document. Okay, yeah. I kind of like a name as a my artifact episode. Okay, edition number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so each edition has almost like a maybe 2 to 300 artifact of text document. Okay, yeah, almost kind of like a some 300 400 pages. Like 300 pages. Yeah, 300 pages. Okay, yeah. And I started reading those things, and it kind of like somebody feel a little bit of kind of like a something like interesting to read that thing. Okay, yeah. And basically at the early of this year, I kind of like somebody have a resolution that I should supposed to be read a book. Okay, yeah. So I wanted to kind of like start reading book from this year, and it kind of like something really helpful for me to kind of like consume such a information that I already familiar. So that's why I kind of like started reading my artifact first. I kind of like read it almost like a 10 edition. Okay, yeah. And then after that I decided that I should supposed to be read the Bible. Okay, yeah. So so basically reading a Bible is a like basically I didn't like what exactly is this thing. Okay, first of all is that I need to kind of like a something need to kind of like read. Okay, like I need a kind of like a something be a habitual regarding about reading. Okay, yeah. But whenever I try to read any kind of like a something document or any kind of like a things, it's boring. First of all, it doesn't look good. It's like I don't know, the text is kind of like something really mellow, or like I don't know. Yeah, like let's just kind of like give you example. You just open any page. Okay, yeah. And you are not seeing any kind of like a some title, subtitle, you just see the text. And when you see the text, like a just text, that document feels something like that I don't know, I can't even read that thing. It just kind of like a feel something like not that good. Okay, yeah. So same thing happened like when I try to read a book, it just kind of like a something the language that I don't really understand, or maybe kind of like a phrase that I don't really understand, which is kind of like something very fucked up. Okay, yeah. Same thing happened with a kind of like a something language that I already knew, like a Marathi language or Hindi language. Like basically the language that they mentioned was also really like a too much English or too much Marathi or too much Hindi that just not okay. Yeah, and the gravity of the information that mentioned in the book is I'm not getting that thing. So this is what kind of like assembly problem that I was kind of like assembly happened. So I and while I was kind of like reading my artifact is kind of like a feel really consumable. It feels like that it's easy to digest, like every verse is kind of like a things. And this is what actually happened because of the I put the prompt while kind of like a convert that subtitle into the document is that I put the prompt that make this document into the readable, engaging, feels good, may read it like a fun to read or stuff like that. I put all those prompts and things like that. So that's why that document became something really very fun to read and stuff like engaging. Okay, yeah. So I thought that if I convert my subtitle into the document in very interesting way to read, why not I could do the kind of like assembly such a book that I wanted to read, like a Bible. So that's why I did it. I kind of like assembly have put all the kind of like a download the PDF of Bible. Okay, yeah. Now copy each chapter, paste it into ChatGPT, and kind of like put the prompt that can make this text this good, that good, vagara vagara vagara. And the text that ChatGPT produced, it was really engaging. It was kind of like a really good. Like let me tell you one thing: the Bible, when you try to read the Bible, it's just like, oh my god, this is like a so much big book, like legit so much big book. And when you try to read it, I don't know. Yeah, but it's just like that. I can't read the kind of like a original context of language of Bible. It's just not. But I wanted to read it. I wanted to understand what this kind of like a methodology of kind of like a Christian people. What does they think? What does they? I don't know. I just wanted to know that. I just wanted to read it that. Okay, yeah. So that's why I just kind of put the prompt and things, and I convert entire document, entire Bible document into the kind of like some the all readable things and stuff like that. By the way, till now I kind of like a already listed all my Bible book on Amazon Kindle. Okay, yeah. I don't know if you wanted to read it, then you can go, you can buy that book. Okay, it's not really expensive, but probably it's really expensive because like I put the price as low as possible as I can. But the problem is that the publication is actually available in the US. So I don't know where you are from. Like basically, if you are from India or any kind of like part of the country, then probably it includes the taxes and things like that. So probably the price of the book will kind of like something significantly higher. Okay, yeah. So yeah, like this is kind of like a thing. And also there is no another kind of like some publication I found that kind of like somebody providing such a online services as a kind of like somebody Amazon Kindle does. So yeah, but whatever. Okay, if you want to read that, you just have to go and kind of like read it. It's kind of like somebody really like basically I kind of like make a Bible is kind of like somebody as engaging as possible as I could. By the way, till now I completed book 2. Okay, I missed book 1 and book 2 I already completed. Since today, like I will gonna read book 3. Okay, yeah. By the way, each book is almost like a 600 pages. Okay, so and yeah, like basically why this like so much because of that key. The Bible is really big book, dude. Like really legit. Like they have multiple. Like this the Bible is a kind of like a some mixture of multiple books. It has a kind of like a Genesis, Exodus, Joshua, Solomon, a lot of things, Judges, Leviticus, lot of stuff. And still I just kind of like learn almost like a maybe 30% of the Bible. Still almost like a Jesus part didn't really came. Okay, crucifixion didn't really came right now. So it is like the Bible is really big. Okay, but still I'm kind of like learning half an hour every single day. So that's why I'm kind of like I feel that it will gonna take me almost like maybe another 1 or 2 months to kind of like complete the entire Bible. But yeah, I could do that thing. Okay, but one of the important thing is that right now if I'm kind of like read the Bible, I could consume the information, which is kind of like feels really good. Okay, yeah. So then like basically this thing, when this thing happened, then I thought that what if I could read the Quran too. Okay, yeah, like a Islamic Quran. So I'm kind of like somebody making that book too. Okay, like it's in kind of like some production. Okay, like basically whenever I get kind of like some time, I kind of like make that kind of like some book. Okay, yeah. But still, dude, why are you kind of like reading those religious book like a Bible and Quran and things and that? Why? um Okay, I don't know. Okay, at the time I don't know. Yeah, I legit don't know why I'm actually doing it that. But I just like I think that I have to. It's a I don't know what exactly is this thing. It's a kind of like a somebody is this thing. I am actually listening my gut feeling more and more. Okay, yeah, and my gut feeling is kind of like saying me that ki read it his document, and I don't really have any proper explanation regarding about that. Like they have a lot of books, like basically a lot of amazing books are also available, like a atomic habit, or like a rich dad poor dad. There are multiple books too. Okay, yeah, there is a fictional too, Harry Potter and stuff like that. But why are you reading those kind of like a religious book? I am still not really sure. I am not really understand why I'm kind of like reading. I'm just reading it right now. So okay, yeah. So don't ask me anything. But regarding about while I was kind of like reading that book, I sense of understanding what this kind of like a people went through. I don't know like what exactly what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, yeah. Um. Okay. I am actually seeing a life. Okay. Okay. What exactly seeing a life means? What? Seeing a life means like that. Ki like basically is this thing. Ki okay, let me tell you what exactly am I doing, and then I will kind of like try to tell you. Okay, yeah. I'm actually mentioned that yeah, I'm reading a book. I'm kind of like reading a Bible right now. Okay, yeah. Simultaneously, I'm actually making the Quran too. Okay, yeah. And after that, I also kind of like a focus on I want to make Vedas too. Okay, Veda. These are the Hindu scriptural book. Okay, yeah. Vedas, Rigved, the multiple Vedas. Okay, these are Hindu sculpture, and there is a kind of like another book is Buddha. Okay, I wanted to make that book too. Okay, yeah, but still I don't know. It will gonna take time. Maybe but still, it's in process. Okay, yeah, I wanted to make that book. Now, the okay, so now basically this is kind of like a simply book that I wanted to read. Okay, and I don't know why, but I wanted to read one thing. Another thing is that while I was kind of like making my design. Okay, like basically I didn't really mention regarding about what I do every single day. Okay, so basically as I mentioned, there is a like a I don't know. Let me tell you. I'm like let me tell you. Go through the what is actually routine that I developed till now. Okay, so soon as I wake up, okay, 7 or 7 a.m. I usually wake up. Okay, 7 or 7:30. I wake up. I had a breakfast, and as soon as I had done my breakfast, I kind of like went into rooftop and I record my artifact in the early morning. Okay, yeah. And when I record the artifact, it felt really good things, and that I kind of like ask bunch of questions to myself, and it gives me kind of like a lot of thought things like that. It's kind of like a little bit helpful for me. So yeah, I'm doing it that. Then after that, I read a book for half an hour. I legit had half an hour. Like I set up an alarm. I set up alarm for like for half an hour and kind of like read the book for half an hour. Okay, yeah. After I read the book, then I have to do kind of like some sort of work at home, like mop the floor or kind of like assembly the yeah. There are a couple of things that I have to do because I'm living with my parents. So yeah, I'm kind of like doing all those things. Okay, yeah. Then after that, I like basically after the mop, I kind of like somebody take a shower and things like that, and then I kind of like somebody learn brain games. Okay, yeah. There is a Duolingo. Okay, the Duolingo is a micro learning. Elevate, these are micro learning, and meditation. Okay, basically is this thing just almost like a maybe a couple of weeks ago I was kind of like decided that to let's do meditation. So I'm actually doing the meditation, not that much, just a 5 minute. Okay, just a 5 minute I do the meditation. So Duolingo, Elevate, and meditation, these are micro learning, means like that I spend almost like a 10 minutes on that. Okay, yeah. Then there is a kind of like a something Lumosity is a kind of like a brain workout, and I legitly spend almost like a 1 hour into that thing so that I would kind of like simply learn. So in this Lumosity app, there is a kind of like a couple of challenges regarding about mathematical challenges, regarding about the flexibility, regarding about kind of like how much you are kind of like a speed and endurance and kind of like a things, and that it kind of like measure all those things are by the it's a brain workout. If I'm kind of like a totally say it's an entire brain workout. Okay, so this is kind of like a stuff that too I spend almost like a 1 hour on that. Then there is another application, is a brilliant application. Okay, uh, the name of the app is a brilliant. Yeah. So basically this kind of like a application is a kind of like, it's not brain workout, but it's a kind of like a something that key entire course are actually available. So basically it kind of like a somebody try to tell the like a physics, mathematics, algorithm, coding, and basically the way that their lessons is actually kind of like a something create in a such a way that it kind of like a somebody learn, like basically is this thing na ki while in the school I never really kind of like learn that many thing, but while I was kind of like a basically I'm kind of like a somebody utilizing this application for almost like the last 2 months, and I learned so much about the mathematics and kind of like some scientific things and kind of like how the gear works and how it's like still I'm just completed almost like a 10% of the course, but within just a 10% I just still knew all those things. And these are kind of like a self-learning thing, means like that no one is actually kind of like letting you course and things, and somebody is actually no, I'm not actually watching any kind of like a video and things like that. No, I'm just kind of like a somebody whatever is actually happened, it kind of like a tell us what exactly is this thing, what kind of like a problem that you should supposed to solve, and I have to be solve this problem and correct the kind of like a right option. And yeah, so this is a kind of like a somebody game was it, it's not a game, it's a kind of like a somebody course, but created in kind of like a somebody very fun way, which is really good. Okay, so I spent almost like a 1 hour on that application too. Okay, then after that I kind of like spend 1 hour into the web development course. Okay, like basically I bought the Udemy app development course. Okay, yeah, and like basically I kind of like started learning app development from YouTube, but in that kind of like a courses is not kind of like a somebody telling me a kind of like a right guidelines, because Android development is kind of like a change in a such a way, it's kind of like a rapidly, like basically almost like a basically 2-3 year ago the entire app development, Android app development is actually based on Java, but right now they switched into the entire to the Kotlin. So which is kind of like something, the Kotlin is kind of like something little bit complicated to learn. Okay, if you know the Java you can learn very much easily, but the people who don't really have any experience regarding about coding, then it's quite difficult. I'm actually learning on that. Okay, yeah, basically is this thing like I started kind of like somebody learning this kind of like app development for almost like a year ago, but I didn't really continue that thing because of that key my content creation is actually hampered regarding about that. So I kind of like decided that quit, because like yeah, but why are you kind of like doing the app development, why are you kind of like learning those app development? I'm learning those app development is because of that key I wanted to make an app. Okay, yeah, and yeah, this like I wanted to make an app, so that's why I'm kind of like learning those app development and things like. And don't ask me regarding about why I'm actually making the app, because I already mentioned regarding about my application in previous artifact multiple times. Okay, yeah, so I will not gonna mention regarding about here. Okay, yeah, so I will spend almost like a 1 hour into the app development. Okay, so this is what I do. Then after that I kind of like create my content. Okay, Photoshop design. Okay, for the Photoshop design I kind of like make my design and stuff like that. It took me almost like another 1.5 hour. Okay, yeah, during this thing it will take me entire day. Okay, entire day means like till almost like a 6 p.m. it actually happened. After the 6 p.m. I went to the workout. Okay, yeah, do my workout. I running, basically I'm running actually from last 4 year. I'm actually kind of like running every single day, so I'm actually maintaining the consistency, so might be kind of like a little bit helpful for me. Okay, but I don't want to break the consistency, so I'm kind of like running every single day and play the badminton with my friend Prashik, and kind of like spend a little bit time with them. And then I came home, and whatever the work that I remaining, like basically there is a some sort of editing his part is actually remaining, so I kind of like edit that, upload that content on my YouTube and Instagram platform. And then whatever the time that I left, okay, I kind of like a make my book. I kind of like a write my book through AI and ChatGPT. Okay, so this is entire routine that I kind of like develop. Okay, yeah. Okay. So what exactly my question was that? Okay, my question was that why are you reading those kind of like spiritual book or things like that? Okay, yeah. I am not really understand at the moment. Okay, but there is a kind of like assembly while I was reading those kind of like assembly spiritual or kind of like these are religious book. There is a couple of things that I notice. Okay, yeah, I am seeing the life. As I mentioned, I'm seeing the life. What is actually life that I'm seeing? What is actually meant by that? Okay, I haven't really mentioned regarding about that. Like basically why I'm kind of like mentioning this kind of like a routing first. Okay, yeah. During this time, okay, during this all those activity like basically learning and app development and kind of like a brilliant and lumosity and kind of like workout and things and that, whatever the time I get, like basically while making the content creation, while I kind of like making my design, I kind of like consume content regarding about history. Okay, like basically World War One, then kind of like a couple of things actually happen in history and stuff like that. Okay, yeah. Now, right now I'm gonna tell you like you understand what exactly I'm doing every single day. So I'm gonna kind of like you aware of that key what exactly I've been through. Now I'm gonna tell you why I'm kind of like reading those kind of like some religious book. Okay, yeah. So as I mentioned, I am seeing the life. Okay, so what is actually meaning of seeing the life? Seeing the life means like that. Ki, um, like I am actually recording artifact. Okay, so I am kind of like somebody understand my life. Okay, what is actually understand my life? What exactly is this thing? Okay, yeah. Um, understand my life means what? Ki, means like that ki you understand or you know what you went through or what you've been through. Okay, if you still not gonna understand, like if you are kind of like a person who are the teenager person, you will not gonna understand. Okay, because why? Because the teenager doesn't really live the life that much. Like let's just say if your age is almost like a 15, 16, 17 or 20, your life is just started. Okay, yeah. So you haven't really experienced. What I'm trying to tell you is this thing I seen the life means like that ki when you cross 30 or things like that, then you kind of like realize what is actually life and what is actually you've been through regarding about every possible scenario, right scenario, wrong scenario, whatever it is. Okay, yeah. So I'm actually seeing the life. Okay, yeah. And when I'm seeing the life, I also seen whenever I growth and whenever I got downfall, whenever I growth, whenever I got downfall. Also I understand what is actually mistake happened, why am I being here and things like that. These are all those things I aware is because of artifact, that is I'm kind of like doing this thing for almost like a decade. So because of this thing I kind of like something aware of that, because I kind of like mention this thing regarding about what is actually my life going through. And right now like this. Okay, yeah. Now I'm actually seeing my life. Okay, yeah. Now actually I'm reading the kind of like a some book, religious book, and also I'm kind of like a consuming little bit of history regarding about what is actually happened in world history and things and that and that. Okay, yeah. So I'm actually comparing my life with a kind of like a some stuff that I'm reading and stuff that I'm consuming information. Okay, yeah. And I seen that a life, I seen that kind of like some entire timeline of life, that what it went through, what is actually happened, where is this kind of like some Jurassic Park happened, when this world war happened, when this thing happened, what is actually responsible for that. I don't know, I'm not really kind of like somebody understand that much kind of like how do I supposed to explain this thing at the moment, because I'm not really sure what is actually that, what exactly is this thing, or what is actually this called. I just only one thing that I'm kind of like explaining properly is that ki I'm seeing the life probably, but it's not a kind of like a really right way to kind of like explain this thing, because I'm still not really sure. Like example, okay, yeah, that ki if I'm gonna say like if you like if I'm gonna say to you that ki um because of the Hitler, millions of people are died. Okay, yeah. So is this happened in our past? Is this happened good or is this happened bad? Okay, yeah. If I'm asking this question to you, you might gonna give the answer is that ki no, Hitler kind of like killed those millions of people. That is bad. That is really legit bad. Okay, yeah, definitely it is bad. But for my point of perspective, I didn't really consider that. I consider that ki it happened for good. At that time it's a bad, but it happened for good reason. Now why I'm actually saying this thing? Okay, yeah, it's a very controversial. It's kind of like you are taking side of Hitler. No, I'm not taking anyone's side. Okay, yeah. Like basically what I'm trying to tell you is this thing that na ki if you are away from some certain object na, you are kind of like understand the entire situation scenario. Okay, let me tell you what exactly is this thing. Oh yeah, where, like, look around yourself, whoever you are, look around yourself, you are actually seeing trees, skies, building, home. I seen the, like, a water tank, I seen the outdoor unit of AC, I seen the Wi-Fi, I seen the birds, I seen the tree. Like, yeah, this is kind of like a stuff that I'm seeing. Okay, yeah. Why I'm actually seeing? Because from my eyes, right? Yeah. Imagine you are a Superman. Okay, imagine you are Superman. Okay, now you are kind of like a seeing the entire world from top down perspective. Okay, yeah, like basically you are flying and you are actually looking down. So what should you supposed to see? You might gonna see lot more. You might gonna see very tiny houses, tiny people and things and that. What I'm trying to tell you, your perspective is change. No, right? Like basically is this thing, when you went too much closer, you actually seen very tiny things much bigger. Like basically I seeing this kind of like a somebody 1000 liter of taki. I seen it's kind of like a, take so much space in my kind of like a perspective area of visual. Okay, but when you went to the top down, you might gonna see, you see very little less of you little see, like everything bit very tiny, right? The small is tiny, the people are tiny. You actually seen the field, entire field. You actually seen the trees, you actually seen so many things at once. And this is kind of like some information that your brain is not really kind of like consume that much. Like basically, yeah, like have you ever feel that thing? Like basically, have you went to kind of like a, somebody top of the mountain or things like that, or have you ever went to kind of like a, somebody any tall building? Okay, so when you went to the tall building and when you look down, you actually seen lot of stuff. What I'm trying to tell you is just the perspective. Okay, yeah, means like that ki if you are in the traffic, you might think the traffic is really hectic and things and fucked up and stuff like that. But when you went to the top of the building, you actually realize that no, the traffic is just little bit. You just go to little bit further, couple of meters away, and you might gonna away from the traffic and things like that. What I'm trying to tell you is this thing: when you are in the traffic, you feel that this is a traffic is a really bigger issue, right? But when you went to the top of the building, you actually seen that traffic is not really big the issue. It's just couple of meter of traffic and then it kind of is gone. Okay, it's not really that big issue. Same thing that I'm actually experiencing right now, because of I'm kind of like a recording artifact for almost like a decade. Okay, and because I'm kind of like reading those kind of like a religious book, and I'm kind of like a somebody consuming little bit of history information on the YouTube channel and things like that. So I'm kind of like somebody getting a lot of information from every possible scenario. There. Okay, so I'm actually getting all those information. So my perspective is kind of like somebody much more wider. Okay, like basically I could see the entire World War timeline. I could see the entire kind of like somebody what exactly happened in Solomon, things like that. By the way, my information is not exactly right. The information that I have is not kind of like exactly right. But still I could see the timeline. I could see the kind of like some sort of dots regarding about that. Okay. And when I seen those kind of like a timeline, then I seen that everything is actually happened for right reason. Like basically the way that we are breathing right now is actually because of what is exactly kind of like a stuff happened in the history. Okay, like basically is this thing that if I'm gonna say that World War II, like if the Hitler was not born or things like that, then World War II will not gonna happen. So this kind of like something really good, like basically millions of people will not gonna die. So probably this is kind of like something really good thing, right? But that is not a good thing, dude, because of the World War II happened, we actually created kind of like an organization called United Nation, and because of the United Nation, we actually saved lot of millions of life. Okay, let's just couple of example. Let's just say that in 2000, I'm not really sure exact date. Okay, yeah, but there is a kind of like something the ozone layer, and there is a kind of like something the hole in the ozone layer is actually happened almost like a decade ago. Okay, yeah, and there is a kind of like something so much kind of like something very wrong thing, like because of this ozone layer, because ozone layer is actually protecting our life. Okay, it kind of like somebody deflect all those kind of like ultraviolet rays from the sun, and that's why we are not really getting any cancer. Yeah, because the sun is really very dangerous, and if you kind of like expose, you will get cancer so easily. But because of the ozone layer, it kind of like some eliminate those UV rays, and it kind of like let inside only sunlight. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is this thing, that because the hole is actually happening in ozone layer in Antarctica, it's a very so much kind of like a very dangerous thing. So basically the people who came, they kind of like mentioned this topic in United States, and everyone is actually aware of that. They actually understand that what is actually problem, and they are kind of like only fixing those problems. Okay, they are kind of like only fixing those problems and things and that. Okay, so basically is this thing na ki probably is this thing. I think the new beginning or new growth or the growth or kind of like somebody the new start or fresh start or whatever it is actually happen after the destruction or after the bad consequences. I think that. Okay, because I'm not kind of like a taking someone's, I'm not taking side of Hitler, I'm not taking side of kind of like a somebody that ki like a no, but sometimes na I just feel like that ki the wrong thing happened in our history. That's why we are breathing really good life right now. Okay, yeah. And this is not just kind of like a somebody actually happened in kind of like a somebody entire world history. It is actually happened in our personal life too. Okay, like basically is this thing na ki if I'm give you example. Okay, yeah. Let's just say that ki look, let's take my example. Okay, yeah. So when I was kind of like somebody the writing, my handwriting was not really good. Okay, yeah. But I didn't really stop there. Like basically I know my handwriting is not really good, but I didn't really stop there. I kind of like write and things and that, and if I'm being really continue, my handwriting became something really good. Okay, what I'm trying to tell you is this thing, this situation, like as I mentioned, this kind of like growth is actually happened after the destruction, after the failure, after the kind of like wrong attempt or things like that. This is the same principle or same whatever it is, it's kind of like applied in our real life too. Means like that our growth is also happened from the beginning, but it kind of like at the beginning it's kind of like something so much so much fragile. Like basically you can't write the word that you kind of like something mention it properly, you might not gonna read them well that it is. Like basically whatever you started learning, you might not really good at the beginning, but if you are being really consistent and continue and put in the effort, and you will get kind of like a improve over the time. This is the same thing happened with the kind of like some the entire world history, same thing happened with the everything. Okay, yeah. So so this is what I'm getting, this is what kind of like some information that I'm getting while I was kind of like reading those kind of like some books, because Bible is a kind of like somebody, is it friction or is it, I'm not really sure, is it like I don't know. Like I haven't really like, I'm not belong to any Christian, no one actually mentioned why like you should read the Bible and things like that. I just read it, I'm kind of like somebody just getting those information. Okay, right now I'm kind of like somebody, like last night I kind of like somebody writing the Quran. Okay, and Quran is also kind of like somebody giving the same vibe, same as goes to Vedas, same as goes to the multiple kind of like somebody the religious books too. Okay, not just religious book, but I think that it is. I'm not still not really sure, but I think that. Dude, it's been almost like a 48 minutes. You're actually recording artifact. Okay, I should supposed to be end here. Okay, yeah. So this is it, and I should supposed to end here, and thank you.